Hello everybody and a very warm welcome back to part 2 of Soul Records you should check out. First of all, a big thank you to each and every one of you who got in touch with me about part 1. The reaction was overwhelming, so I decided to do very fast part 2, and I hope you are as happy with the selection as part 1. Over the weekend, I was at the Baltic Soul Weekender. I had a blast. I made some wonderful memories, but I also got back with a very bad flu. I'm not on top of my game, far from it, so please bear with me if my voice is not keeping up with me. Alright, thanks for that. Let's start, because you requested a little more from the 60s, some more from the 70s with the touch of the 80s. And I hope with this 10 records I found a good selection. Once again, if you have recommendations or want to get in touch with me, put a comments down below or get in touch with me via Instagram. That's the easiest way. Shall we start? Alright.
Number 1.
Let's start with 1962. And Solomon Brook. Solomon Brook has a fantastic voice. He's, for me, one of the greatest soul singers from his era. And this is actually the reissue from his debut album. The debut album was released in 1962. This is the reissue from 1964. You find out that it's a reissue if it has the mono or stereo sticker. The condition of this record was so good that I had to have it. Once again, a great album. And on the back, Fred Goodwin wrote that on October the 12th in 1982 he bought this record in Nashville, Tennessee. And I love if a record is having a kind of history to it, and you can still find that on the cover. For me, that's no downgrade or absolutely horrible or ruins the cover. I find that very appealing. I show you the record. It's on the Kenwood label. Like I said, this record was in a stunning condition, so I had to have it no matter what. It wasn't so cheap. I paid around 50 euros, $50 for it, but this was like new. So
Number 2.
a very unsung hero in music history. He was known as the Fixer. So if people were having problems with their recordings, they called him to produce and help with the album. Johnny Bristol used him, Aretha Franklin used him, many people used him, and he's for me a legend of the music era. And this is H.B. Barnum. And in the 60s, he released also some albums. So if you are into soul pop music, he is giving you the best soundtrack. This album is from 1966. Let me prove that. Let me check that. But I think I'm right. It's from 1966. It has a small cutout. Once again, the condition was overall absolutely okay. This was the first press Canada. And here is the back side and the front with HP having some milkshakes, some soda, some ice cream. So if you are into soulful pop, HB is the soundtrack for you.
Number 3.
Another one from 1966, where you can find, I think, easily. I found it very often, that album. And it's also very affordable, between $15 to $25 or euro, however you want to call it. It's The Toys, a Lover Concerto, and Attack. I fell in love the first time with this album when I saw the cover art. I think there was such a stunning cover art for the 60s. It's almost like art, and I absolutely adore this cover art next to the content. So Can't Get Enough of You Baby, See How They Run, I Got a Man, A Lover's Concerto. So this is the back. This is a tremendously good 60s soulful girl group record. So I can absolutely recommend you get this. And like I said, you find it very easily, and you find it also for 15 to 25 euro.
Number 4.
This very next one was a little more expensive, But this looked like new. I was having this record in my hand. I was like, okay, this is a reissue, and I really had to triple check that record to find out it was an original first German press from a singer who could have had quite a career. I'm happy that she had some years where she was having a tremendous successful career, but her life story is also very unfortunate. But the irresistible Tammy Terrell. So the story of Tammy Terrell is a very tragic one. She was in very abusive relationships with James Brown or David Ruffin from The Temptations, who reportedly hit her very often on the head where she was having injuries, which is not speculation because it's been at least confirmed from many sources. So in the late 60s, she had a great success with Marvin Gaye. They had one hit after another: Ain't No Mountain High Enough, Your Precious Love. So just to name a few. And she had, by 1969, she had to go through many brain surgeries because she had a brain tumor. And she died in 1970. So many people, this is speculation, say that during the hits she got from James Brown on her head or from David Ruffin, this could have caused a brain tumor. I'm not a doctor or very good at medicine. I doubt that because I read from other sources that she had from very early age on always problems with headaches. So it's very likely that the tumor was there when she was younger. Getting hits on the head, well, is not helping the situation. But anyway, this is her only solo album released during her lifetime, and it's an absolutely great record. In 2021, I think there was a record store release from this album on yellow vinyl. So this is the beautiful Tammy Terrell on the front. This is the beautiful Tammy Terrelli on the back. Terrell, sorry. And it includes I Can't Believe You Love Me, which was later on made to be a duet. Come and see me. He is the only one I love. I can't go without you. So, and this is a classic. This is something, if you are a soul collector, you should have that in your collection. This is an absolutely classic. All right.
Number 5.
Next in line, let's get straight to 1974. And I think 1974 was a fantastic year music-wise. So we have here the great Gene Redding with Blood Brother. This is also a German first press, tremendously good soul record. This is around 10 euros and it's a fantastic record. I'm showing you, this is the front. And this is a back, so I think that was used in a club because there are some marks on that. Once again, yeah, I like it when the record shows its history. So Blood Brothers is a very good track. I Can See the Love Light is awesome. Easy for you to say so. Very cheap, very affordable, and great music. The great Gene Redding.
Number 6.
One of my favorites, one of my all-time favorite records. And if you have seen the first episode where I recommend What I'm Gonna Do by Gloria Scott, which is a soul masterpiece, well, the person who wrote most of the songs from that album was Tom Brooke. And in 1974, he released an album which is called I Love You More and More. This is the original release from 1974. If you want an original, the pricing is between 80 to 200 euro. This is a very expensive record. Why it suddenly got so expensive? Well, maybe it's getting more and more rare, more and more people get to know him and keep the originals in their collections. Anyway, it's gotten very expensive. So I was very happy, that was before I found an original, that Mr. Bongo made a reissue of that album, and I still have the hype stick sticker. I hope you can see that. I love you more and more. This is the hype sticker. The cover art has been identical. So here is the front. This is the back. And also the label is the original 21st century label. A big winner from Mr. Bongo. 25 euro, the reissue. So absolutely great. And this was the original inner sleeve from the reissue. So you can't go wrong with this reissue from Mr. Bongo. Between 25 to 35 euro. I wouldn't pay more than 35 euros for that because you can find it way cheaper. So a fantastic record. Unfortunately, Tom Brooke didn't do much after this, but it's still a milestone in music.
Number 7.
My voice is still with me. I'm happy about that. 1975. And I loved the cover art. So some 70s, 80s, and also some 60s records. They had some tremendously good cover art. And this is good stuff by the Imaginations. I mean, look at that cover. Fantastic record from the beginning to the end. You are not finding this one so much in the wild, but also it's between 20 to 40 euros or $1, and it's a fantastic record. If you have a chance, go and grab it. I mean, this cover art is just tremendously good.
Number 8.
All right, next one. I think 1976, 1975. Let me look. 1975, or some tracks were recorded in 1976. So 1976, Bo and Ruth. I paid $30 for it back in the day, and this is an original UK press. It has some water damage. You can see that. We can see that on the back, but otherwise the record was still fine. And the hit on this one, or everyone is recommending, is You're Gonna Get Next to Me, is declared to be one of the greatest songs of that. Honestly, I love this record from the beginning to the end. So if you have the chance to find the Bo and Ruth record, around $30, which I think I thought it was a little expensive, but once again, I haven't seen that in the wild, and the vinyl and everything was in good quality. So
Number 9.
1976, Skip, I hope I spell that correct, Skip Mono Hay and the Carousels, Land of Love. Oh my god, I love this record. This group was founded in the late 60s. They had some great releases in the 70s, and this was, I think, a 10 euro record back in the day. You have some nice Hawaiian island cover art. On the back you see the group, and also with pictures from the studio recordings, and this is just a tremendously good record. I love it. So if you have the chance to find Skip Mahoney and Carousel's Land of Love, go and get it. Go and get any records from them. They're so good. So yeah. Also, I want to show you the original inner sleeve, which I found was very nice. You can find some records. Is there one in particular? No, but I really have to go through this because there are some gospel records on it which I haven't seen, and I might need to have them. So the Supreme Angels and the 5 Singing Stars, My Love, Mr. Maragon Bab, Willie Mae Ford Smith, Going On With the Spirit. So some great recommendations on this sleeve.
Number 10.
The last record for today, right? 1982. O.C. Smith, Love Changes. If you like the soundtrack of Love Boat, and if you like Lou Rawls, you're gonna love this record. O.C. Smith did some great recordings in the 70s. He was also into jazz, and he did some great recordings. So this was in the $5 bin. in minty condition. And what I also want to point out was that H.B. Barnum, getting back to H.B., was the producer on this record. So you can really expect a high quality, top-notch recording production from this album. Like I said, it wasn't a $5 bin. So very easy to find, not expensive, and some great music. 10 records completed, all right. I have a bonus record because I've always been asked, what's one of your all-time favorite albums? It's very difficult to answer this because it changes very often, but there's one record in particular which is always in my top 5, always. And this is, and I think you might know this one, this is Dusty in Memphis. Hardly a blue-eyed singer was so good as Dusty Springfield. She is, in my opinion, one of the greatest soul singers who ever got out of Great Britain or who ever got out of Europe. She is one of a kind. And you can see that some people signed this record for me because I'm still so crazy about this album. I Can't Make It Alone is one of my all-time favorite tracks ever. And just one smile, I could go on and on with this record. So also this one is, because it was sold like crazy, very cheap. There's also one version with a green cover and an alternate picture of her, which I think was the German and also UK release. I've seen this version for $40, so I was a little shocked. So you can go with the original US version. Anyways, there is no big difference on it, except the cover, and also sound-wise, I didn't hear it like, oh, it blows my mind to have this $40 version of Dusty Springfield. It doesn't do it, so you can easily go with that. Yeah, Dusty in Memphis is my bonus record. For me, one of the greatest soul records out there. If you have the chance, go and get it for $5 to $10. So, my voice is still with me. I'm proud. I need to take an aspirin very fast. So once again, a big thank you for watching. And I hope you like my little selection. And yeah, I see you next time. Maybe on the Soul Stream coming up tomorrow at 6 p.m. GMT, featuring John from the UK and Eve from Canada. Thanks once again, and I'll see you. Bye.